You say, "I can't make it this weekend." They go quiet. You hear the heavy sigh. Then they say, "It's fine. I guess I know how much I matter to you." Nothing about your answer was cruel, but suddenly you feel the pressure to apologize, to over-explain, and to delete your limit just to stop their pain. That is when hurt feelings become a test. Not because the emotion is automatically fake, but because your boundary is being asked to disappear. This is the mechanism of the wounded performance. Before you try to fix the feeling, run the compliance check. Can they be hurt while the boundary stays in place? Or is your surrender the only medicine they will accept? A healthy person can be disappointed without requiring you to erase your perimeter to prove that you care. But in a manipulation test, the first sign is often immediate. The moment you set the boundary, the original issue vanishes and your character goes on trial. Sign 1. The immediate pivot. You tell a family member, "I can't host this weekend. I need the time to recover." They answer, "I guess family just isn't important to you anymore." Notice what disappeared. The weekend, your energy, and the actual limit. Now the discussion is about whether you are loving, loyal, grateful, or selfish. That is the pivot. The boundary gets replaced by a moral accusation. Most people would rather overextend themselves than defend their entire character. Ask, are we still discussing the actual limit? Or am I now defending what kind of person I am? Use this shield. Not being available this weekend does not mean I do not care. The answer is still no. Do not build a courtroom case for your goodness. Bring the conversation back to the issue. A real reaction stays connected to the topic. A guilt pivot replaces the topic with your character. Sign 2. The proportionality gap. You tell a coworker, "I won't be checking messages after 7 tonight." They answer, "Fine, I'll just do everything myself so I don't inconvenience you." A small, reasonable boundary has been inflated into abandonment. The emotional cost of your limit is being raised until compliance feels cheaper than holding it. Ask, does the size of the reaction match the size of the limit? A proportionate response sounds like, "Okay, tomorrow morning works." An inflated response sounds like, "I guess I can never count on you." Do not call them dramatic. Stay with the mismatch. Your response can be, "I understand this is a tight deadline. I'll be back online at 8 in the morning to finish my portion, but I am signed off for the night." Disappointment may be real. Inflation begins when a small limit is treated like a personal catastrophe. Sign 3. Recruitment pressure. You decline a request from a sibling. Later, your parent calls and says, "Why are you being so hard on them?" They're really hurt. Now the emotion has left the original conversation. It has reached someone who can pressure you, shame you, mediate, or overrule your answer. Genuinely hurt people may need someone safe to talk to. The question is, what happens next? Are they seeking support to process the feeling, or recruiting people to change your answer? Support helps someone process pain. Recruitment sends the pain back as pressure. Use this shield. I'm not discussing a private boundary through other people. They can speak to me directly. Do not argue with the messenger or explain the entire conflict to win the room. Return the issue to the person it belongs to. And pay attention, because the next sign is the one most empathetic people miss. It does not look like pressure. It looks like recovery. What exactly must you give up before they can feel better? Run the compliance check again. Can the feelings settle while the boundary remains? Sign 4. The terms of recovery. You refuse to lend money. They say, "I'll be okay. I just need to know you didn't really mean no." Or, "We can move past this as soon as you apologize and agree." Listen for the condition. Their recovery is now tied to a specific action from you. Retract the answer. Apologize or grant access. Peace is being offered as a transaction. Ask, what exact action are they requiring before the hurt can end? A person may genuinely want reassurance. That is normal. But reassurance is different from compliance. Reassurance says, "I still care about you." Compliance says, so I will remove the boundary. Those are not the same thing. Use this response. I'm willing to talk about how this affected you. I'm not withdrawing the boundary. When peace has a price tag, check whether the price is your surrender. The wording changes, the condition does not. Sign 5, the rapid reset. After prolonged hurt, silence, or guilt, you finally give in. Fine, I'll do it. And suddenly, their mood changes. Thank you. I knew you'd understand. Pay attention to the timing. You do not need to decide whether the emotion was fake or planned. Just notice what changed the emotional state. Was it understanding, time, a real conversation, or the concession? Ask how much of the crisis remained after they got what they wanted. Relief can be real. The diagnostic is whether only your compliance produces it. Do not cave just to test the theory. Hold the original boundary. Notice whether the emotional crisis remains as long as your no remains a no, and how quickly it changes if a concession is eventually signaled. Standing still is the test. Now bring the compliance check together. Ask these 4 questions. Can they feel hurt while the boundary remains? Can they be disappointed without punishing me? Can we discuss the feeling without renegotiating the limit? Does peace return only after I give in? If the pattern points back to your surrender, use the primary response. I can see that you're upset, and I'm willing to talk about that. But the boundary itself is not changing. This is not cold. It separates the emotion from the demand. Acknowledge the feeling once. Do not purchase peace with surrender. Someone can be genuinely hurt and still handle that hurt unfairly. You do not need to prove the emotion is fake. Notice what it is asking you to surrender. Healthy hurt says, I need time. Pressure says, change your answer so I can recover. And when the private wounded performance fails to move you, the pressure often moves out of the private conversation and into the room. Next, what to do when someone gets to the room before you. Your empathy is a gift. It does not have to become the handle they use to move your boundary.